This detective went undercover to bust a drug ring, but was a woman murdered because of his mistake?
The leader of Iraq, an anti-Semite, and then he compared a Republican congresswoman to Stalin. Rough week for Howard Dean. Can the Democrats get him under control? And the anti-war protester who shouted down Iraq's prime minister is going to be here. Caution, you are about to enter a no-spin zone. The Factor begins right now. Hey, I'm Laura Ingraham reporting tonight for Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us. Criticism of Israel and the United States is echoing across the globe. And on the Arab street, well, Hezbollah is increasingly being seen as heroic for standing up to Israel. That's the subject of tonight's Talking Points memo. Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Egypt, initially critical of Hezbollah, are now calling for an immediate ceasefire. And then you have 1,000 professors from America and beyond who've signed a petition condemning Israel's aggression. And then yesterday, Democrat Congressman Jim McDermott said that we should all sit down with Hezbollah and Hamas, and that terrorism is in the eye of the beholder. And then the dinosaur media, well, it's playing its usual Blame America tune. One Washington Post columnist, Eugene Robinson, wrote today that, quote, Lebanon is Condi's war because she didn't order Israel to stand down. It is a sick world that we live in when the aggressor here, which is Hezbollah, which deliberately targets innocents, successfully paints itself as the victim. It attacks Israel across its internationally recognized boundary. It violates a UN mandate. And then once again, it's Israel's fault, and by proxy, of course, it's our fault. Retaliation against unprovoked aggression is not only a right, it's an obligation. Israel deserves the same thing that America rightfully asked for itself. When attacked by terrorists, Israel, like any other country, has the right to respond forcefully and also has the right to expect civilized nations to support its actions. Yet at least one new poll indicates that Main Street USA is growing increasingly frustrated with our foreign involvement. 58% think that it's not our role to try to resolve the fight between Israel and the rest of the Middle East. And 64% think that the region will never be at peace. That according to a new CBS New York Times poll. Whether it's Iraq or the current offensive against Hezbollah, President Bush is losing the PR war at home and abroad. And look, if isolationist views are on the rise in the United States, well, the rest of the world might get its way. Our voters may elect a president in 2008 who feels pressured to give up our leadership role in world affairs. And let me tell you, if that happens, the rest of the world won't have the good old US of A to kick around anymore. And so the next time there's a crisis and they come crying for help, well, it might be too late. And that's the memo. Now for our top story tonight, two more views on all of this. Joining us from New York is Fox News contributor Dan Senor. He's a former spokesman for the Coalition Provisional Authority in Iraq. And here in Washington, Kamal Nawash, who's the president of the Free Muslim Coalition Against Terrorism. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Laura.
Kamal, let's start with you. The president and Tony Blair stood up at that press conference today, and they said, yes, a ceasefire, but a ceasefire only if it's a meaningful ceasefire. And that means the status quo as before these attacks has to change. What do you say?
Well, you know, that's fine. That's fine. The thing that President Bush said and Condoleezza Rice said is that we want a permanent situation, a permanent end to hostilities. And she said we want to get to the root of the problem. And then when she defined the root of the problem, she said the root of the problem is you have an organization like Hezbollah that's running loose. That's a terrorist organization. We need to get them from the border. But I don't think that's the root of the problem. That's a symptom of the root of the problem. The root of the problem is you have a 60-year dispute between Israel and its neighbors. And you need to work on solving this dispute. The dispute between the Israelis and the Palestinians, the Syrians and the Israelis, and the Lebanese and Israelis.
They pulled out of Gaza, they pulled out of Lebanon, and then what they got for that, those two acts, they got rocket fire and soldiers being kidnapped. So to blur this up and say, well, this is about the old land dispute, if you want to talk about a land dispute, talk about it. Don't kidnap soldiers, and don't then violate international boundaries.
I totally agree.
Dan, I got to tell you, I'm hearing calls for regional conferences and condemnations of infrastructure bombings by Israel, and I think to myself, how did we get to a situation where the victim is now the aggressor?
Right, and regional conferences with whom, I may ask? I mean, regional conferences with Mr. Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah. Do we want to sit down and talk to him? What about the Iranians, the mullahs in Tehran, who are behind certainly the financing, the supply of a lot of the weaponry, behind the violence we've seen? We're going to sit down and talk to them about this? I mean, let's be realistic. The fact of the matter is what makes this an especially unconventional war is that we don't have anybody to deal with. In wars where we were dealing with state actors, go back to World War II in Germany, we bombed cities like Dresden to smithereens, killed lots of civilians, leveled the cities, and that's when we were fighting against a state actor. Here, we don't even have a state actor to deal with. We are dealing with this non-state actor, this terrorist, amorphous, shadowy terrorist organization, and we're expected to sit down and have a regional conference and have Israel be the target of condemnation.
Kamal, I got to tell you, to hear people condemn Israel, when if we were attacked here in Washington, Chicago, St. Louis, and the way that Israel has been attacked, our people would just be just as unified as the Israeli people to say, not only kill the people who did this, but make it so painful that they'll never do this again. Do you understand that sentiment?
I totally understand that, and I agree. I think there's a confusion. If you said something in the introduction, you said when Hezbollah first attacked Israel, the Arab governments criticized Hezbollah.
Don't want to destroy him too much, though. You don't want to destroy him too much.
The disagreement came is that when Israel, they wanted Israel to attack Hezbollah and attack Hezbollah.
Hezbollah hides in neighborhoods, in residential neighborhoods.
Okay, but that's fine. But Israel also attacked all of Lebanon. They attacked non-Hezbollah infrastructure.
Well, I know what your comments are on that. You know what? Why did they attack the airport?
What, they don't want new supplies? But
why did they attack the bridge? Why did they hit that bridge?
They didn't want convoys?
10,000 Katyusha rockets are enough. They don't want another 10,000.
All Israel had to say that if any plane lands, we would shoot it. But see, here's what happened. Even the Christians are
criticizing Hezbollah, even in the New York Times today.
Well, look, our organization gets a lot. We read a lot of the local newspapers in that region. Yeah. Initially, they were anti-Hezbollah. They wanted Hezbollah destroyed. Now they're so upset.
If I hear disproportionate force one more time, I am going to lose it.
That's not disproportionate. I agree with what Israel's doing. I'm saying they should have focused their attack on Hezbollah infrastructure. When they attack Lebanese infrastructure,
Hezbollah
a country,
makes it impossible to do that because of the way they operate. They're chicken. They are chicken. Their own leader is hiding probably in an embassy, if that report is accurate. Dan, I'm going to give you the last word.
Yeah, two things. One, Laura, to your point, Hezbollah has a long-standing practice of locating their weapons and basing their operations out of civilian areas. To say that Israel should not attack civilian areas is to say they shouldn't confront Hezbollah. Hezbollah is to blame for the violence in these civilian areas, not Israel.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate both of your points of view, and I know we're going to have you back because this isn't going away anytime soon. And next up, a Factor exclusive. The peace protester arrested for disrupting Congress during the Iraq Prime Minister's speech enters the no-spin zone. And later, the prosecutor in the Duke rape case defends his silence as the criticism against him mounts. Stay with us.
Everybody wants to talk about one case. And what I'm here today to tell you that the district attorney's office is not about one case.
When does the best-selling car in America become the best car for America? When does an engine become an engine of change? Introducing the first ever gas-electric Camry with hybrid Synergy drive. It's time to move forward.
As you can see on my chart here, sales have exceeded...
What is that?
Small business owner. They come in looking for loans.
But we only care about big business.
Quarter. Our cash... Whoa. Our cash...
Do they normally catch on fire like that? Yeah, let's get some lunch.
Does your bank think small about your small business? Call Capital One instead for no-hassle business loans, lines of credit, and credit cards.
Hello, Capital One.
What's in your wallet? Oh, I want a loan. I want a loan.
I know you got the power of sports. You got the power of team. I know you got the power to express. You got the power to dream.
Time to get back to it. Come on and move it. Focus on your goals. Anything you want, you can do it.
To date, Target has donated over $170 million to schools through the Take Charge of Education program. Use your red card for the power to help your school.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. For sunshine when skies are gray and sun protection when they're not, new Olay Touch of Sun. A moisturizer with a touch of sunless tanner for a glow that builds gradually with each application. Plus SPF 15 so your skin is protected. Love the sun-kissed skin you're in with new Olay Touch of Sun. And for a sun-kissed glow all over, try Touch of Sun Body Lotion.
Water in one room can mean water damage in the walls and ceilings of other rooms as well. So call the water cleanup specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
Great taste, low cholesterol here. Great taste.
When something tastes great and can help lower cholesterol, it's quite a draw.
Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy.
This is still very much a pitched battle.
It was really quite a scary day here.
These are weapons of terror, simply put.
We put the story in perspective and the world in context. All weekend, live coverage of the Mideast crisis is on the Fox News Channel. This weekend, our daytime team is live with special coverage of the Mideast conflict. First, Trace Gallagher is on scene with live reports. Then, Israel pushes into Lebanon. Get an inside look at their strategy. Plus, how will Hezbollah respond? We're live from the front line.
Hello, everyone. I'm Patty Ann Brown. Hezbollah begins what it's calling the second stage of the war against Israel by unleashing a new weapon. Fox News correspondent Jeff Goldblatt is live in Jerusalem with the latest. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Patty Ann. An escalation of firepower on the part of Hezbollah takes this battle to its deepest point yet, into Israel. This happened yesterday here in Israel with Hezbollah so proud of this new weapon, this new kind of rocket. It even broadcast a launch for propaganda reasons. They call it the Khyber 1, named after the battle between the Prophet Muhammad and Jewish tribes in the Arabian Peninsula. But Israel says the rockets are Iranian-made Fajr 5s, which can send a warhead of almost 400 pounds, nearly 45 miles. Hezbollah launched 5 of these rockets, most crashing into an empty field outside the city of Afula. No one was hurt. In a statement, Hezbollah called the attack a decision in response to the brutal aggression by Israel. It comes 2 days after the head of Hezbollah vowed to take the war farther into Israel, beyond Haifa, 22 miles south of the border and already a frequent target. The Israeli military responded in quick fashion, taking out the launcher located in southern Lebanon. That's the latest live in Jerusalem. I'm Jeff Goldblatt. Now back to you.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Our next news break is after the bottom of the hour. The O'Reilly Factor returns now, and for the latest headlines, foxnews.com.
And in the personal story segment tonight, twice this week, members of the anti-war group Code Pink have interrupted events on Capitol Hill by heckling politicians. There was this at Ambassador John Bolton's confirmation hearing.
And I strongly oppose the nomination of this man, John Bolton, as UN ambassador. He is a discredit to the United States.
And this during the Iraqi Prime Minister's speech to Congress.
The chair notes disturbance in the gallery. The Sergeant at Arms will secure order by removing those engaging in disruption.
And with us now is one of the culprits. Medea Benjamin is the co-founder of Code Pink, who was charged with disruption of Congress. You don't have any leg irons on you or handcuffs or anything? They've sprung you, eh?
That's right, and I must say you look very pretty in pink, Laura.
Well, I would like to say that I was wearing it for you, but it was the only thing in my closet. Okay, here's my question to you. How does heckling help the cause of human rights? I would assume you would agree that you're a human rights activist, right?
Yeah, I don't like the word heckling. I would say
that's what you were doing.
Speaking, well, that's the word you use, but we were saying that we're speaking up for the people who weren't being heard. We tried through many means to meet with the Prime Minister. We called his office before he came.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no, I'm serious.
You actually thought you were going to meet with the Prime Minister?
We came very
of
close.
Iraq?
We spoke to the ambassador 3 times, and he said he got us a meeting, and then they never showed up for it. So we didn't have a chance. He spoke to George Bush. He spoke to Congress. But
why
Laura,
should he meet with Code Pink?
Just because we represent now the majority voice in the United States.
Oh, so Code Pink speaks for the majority of Americans?
Did you see the latest poll of the New York Times,
Do you think
CBS?
that the majority of Americans see what you guys did this week on Capitol Hill and are standing up going, yeah, be rude to the Iraqi prime minister. Yeah, be really rude and act like you're about 12 years old when the UN ambassador who's trying to represent our country's interests is up on Capitol Hill testifying. You think people really think you guys are cool for doing that?
Well, I tell you, we get hundreds and hundreds of emails and calls saying, thank you so much for standing up to us. But Laura, let me just say one thing. The Iraqi prime minister was not representing the majority view of Iraqis.
Oh, so now you not only represent the majority view of Americans, you actually also represent the majority view of Iraqis?
Well,
That's
87% of Iraqis want a timetable for withdrawal of U.S. troops,
well, I've seen
and
those
the majority of Americans want a timetable.
I have a couple questions for you. Number one, are you a human rights activist?
Yes.
What do you think would happen to you if you were trying to organize the group that you have now, let's say in Saddam's Iraq or in Iran today? What do you think would happen to you?
You'd probably be in jail if I was lucky and maybe dead if I wasn't.
So then you would agree, would you not, that the current situation in Iraq, as difficult as it is much better for the cause that you say that you represent, which is human rights?
I fought against Saddam Hussein when Donald Rumsfeld was there shaking hands and saying, this is a guy we can work with. I'm against all dictatorships. I'm against all human rights violations.
That's a John Lennon song. That's not a plan. What's the plan to keep America safe today?
The plan to keep America safe, well, let's start with Iraq. In Iraq, there is a reconciliation plan that the Iraqis have come up with, and we are saying let's support the Iraqi Sunni Shia Kurds who are trying to bring a reconciliation plan.
And that's what Prime Minister Maliki said that he was actually pursuing, but you think he's not really doing that?
He tried to pursue it. In fact, he was about to announce it, but it included one thing, Laura, that George Bush forced him to take out, and that was a timetable for withdrawal of U.S. troops. President of Iraq, Vice President of Iraq, they all said we want a timetable. Well, I think the only way out of Iraq is that people sit down and start negotiating.
There's my question to you. If you live in, let's say you live in a dangerous neighborhood and you had an alarm system on your house, would you ever advertise a decision that you were making to do away with your alarm system, alarm company's monitoring of your house? Wouldn't that be signaling to criminals, come in, take what you want?
And if you were about to go off the cliff, which is George Bush is doing to us in Iraq, in this incredible quagmire, wouldn't you stop and say, hey, let's sit down? We should never have invaded Iraq. They did not threaten us. We should not be there, and the Iraqis don't want us to be there. They have to come up with a solution to their problem.
For women in Afghanistan being allowed to vote, people being allowed to freely choose among lots of different candidates for the Iraqi parliament? Who's responsible for that?
Well, I think in the case of Afghanistan, it's positive that women have the right to vote, but there is still...
You don't want to give George Bush credit for anything, do you? You don't want to give him credit for Afghanistan, having the vision, or Iraq.
Are we supposed to go around the world freeing people, or are we supposed to find who attacked us on 9/11? We let Osama bin Laden go, and instead we invaded the wrong country, Iraq, and we should get out of there.
I think you should try to give those talking points on a military base in Iraq and see how far you get. But we appreciate your stand up to come in and talk to us. I'm glad you're out of jail. When we come back, Howard Dean with 2 off-the-wall comments in one day. Are the Democrats doomed under this guy's leadership? And then a war of words over the move to make English the country's official language. That debate coming up.
Because Fox is where the news is.
Your risks are always evolving. Shouldn't your insurance stay in sync? Travelers.
What are you going to get there? The Ford Freestyle crossover. More than 500 miles on a tank of gas.
Thanks for inviting me this weekend. Sure. All right, guys. I'll see you next week.
Bye, Dad. Bye, Dad.
Bye.
Bold moves. They happen every day.
If you just mention constipation to your doctor, he may suggest fiber and laxatives. But if you really talk to him about all of your recurring symptoms, he may prescribe something different. Because symptoms that keep coming back may be IBS with constipation. And only prescription Zelnorm is approved to treat the multiple symptoms of IBS with constipation that may be caused by a slow-moving digestive system. Only Zelnorm helps coordinate the nerves, muscles, and fluid in the GI tract. You should not take Zelnorm if you have a history of diarrhea, kidney, liver, or gallbladder disease, intestinal blockage, or adhesions, if you get new or worse abdominal pain, blood and stool, bad diarrhea, or diarrhea with cramping, fainting, or dizziness. Stop taking Zelnorm and tell your doctor.
I told my doctor about my abdominal pain, bloating, and constipation, and asked about Zelnorm.
Zelnorm. Relief can start by asking.
Red Lobster is firing up the grill with 2 new creations. Try grilled split lobster tails and jumbo shrimp, or cedar-wrapped sea scallops and jumbo shrimp with a sweet and spicy orange rum glaze. For a limited time at Red Lobster.
Kids as young as 10 sniff the vapors of ordinary household products to get high. They don't know that sniffing can cause instant death. Talk to your kids. If you know what they're doing, they're much less likely to sniff inhalants.
Lou, Shark Week is here.
Discovery On Demand serves up the first summer catch with Shark Week. Mike Rowe from Discovery Channel's Dirty Jobs goes behind the scenes to give you an inside look at sharks and jobs that bite.
This year, with Discovery On Demand and Comcast Digital Cable, you can dive deeper than you've ever been before.
Shark Week. See it first exclusively with Discovery On Demand on Comcast Digital Cable.
And in the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, is the Democratic Party lost as we approach the midterm elections? This week, Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi came out with the party's new campaign theme. It ended up being kind of a laundry list of 6 very broad goals. How are they going to achieve them? Well, I have no idea. And the party's chairman, Howard Dean, he's still having trouble with the stuff coming out of his mouth.
He's going to beat the pants off Katherine Harris, who didn't understand that it is ethically improper to be the chairman of a campaign and count the votes at the same time. This is not Russia, and she is not Stalin. The president made a big deal about bringing the Iraqi prime minister to address Congress and met with him yesterday. The Iraqi prime minister is an anti-Semite.
And joining us now from DNC headquarters is Karen Finney. She's the DNC Communications Director. Karen, good to have you with us.
Good to be with you tonight.
Karen, I got to ask you, when I heard the Howard Dean calling the Iraqi Prime Minister, his visit to Washington, calling him an anti-Semite, I thought to myself, how does this advance the ball for the Democrats? Why don't you explain?
Well, I actually have a question for the Bush administration. How is it that
that's not how it works. You can go after the Bush administration. You have plenty of time. But how does calling the Iraqi prime minister an anti-Semite advance the ball politically for the Democrats?
Well, there's an unanswered question as to why we're spending billions of dollars to support a prime minister that refuses to denounce Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization, and we're supposed to be fighting a war on terror. We'd like some answers to that.
Well, the one thing I found interesting, though, Karen, is I asked a question where we have plenty of time, Karen, and you don't have to talk over me. We have plenty of time. But I just ask that question again. How does calling the Iraqi prime minister an anti-Semite advance the ball politically for Democrats?
The point here, Laura, is that we're going to hold this administration accountable for its failed policies. They're supporting a prime minister who has refused to denounce Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization.
So, in other words, there has to be, you have a litmus test for every leader coming to the United States. What else do they have to agree with us on? Other things? Because Castro has addressed the United Nations, and I don't recall the head of the Democratic Party back then condemning Castro, or did he? Did I miss that?
Laura, we're spending billions and billions of taxpayer dollars, money that aren't going to our roads, money that aren't going to our schools or our children.
All right, let's talk about the Democrat plan, since I can't get you to answer the first question. What is the Democrats' plan to keep America safe? What's the Democrats' plan to keep America safe today?
Well, we certainly think we need a new direction in our Iraq policy. The president's stay the course or leave it to the next president.
Right.
We just don't
understand that, but what's the plan?
Well, we think we need responsible redeployments, and we need a change in strategy. We also think we need to deal with the threats that Iran and North Korea have become. I mean, he's taken his eye off the ball of Iran and North Korea. Well, look at how Iran has increased their nuclear capabilities. Look at the threat that North Korea has now become.
That's why we've
got to get re-engaged. We can't be outsourcing our security and our issues with North Korea to the Chinese. We've got to be engaged.
Whoa, because I thought we were supposed to work with the global community, and now you're saying the Democrats are not working with the global community and all these peace issues?
That's not what I'm saying, Laura. What I'm saying is we need a foreign policy that's tough and smart, that is engaged. Why is it that this president has ignored the Middle East for the last 6 years?
Right.
Look at the mess, look at the crisis that we're facing.
So it's our fault that Hezbollah attacked Israel?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's time for the United States to get engaged in our foreign policy, and we think we need a foreign policy that's tough and smart. We also think, though, we need a real security policy that deals with threats overseas, but right here at home. We want to make sure that we enact the 9/11 Commission recommendations that keep our communities safe as well. We want to secure our ports, and we want to secure our borders.
Our borders,
That's
yes.
what Democrats are offering.
All right, the Democrats are for shutting down the borders. Karen, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. And plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening. O'Reilly calls on the Durham DA to drop the Duke rape case in a can't-miss Factor flashback.
Six-speed short-throw gearbox, a sport-tuned suspension. Start making summer memories fast. The Mercedes-Benz Summer Event. See your local authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for a great lease offer on a 2006 C230 sports sedan.
Right now at Joseph A. Bank. Buy a suit and get one for free. That's any regular price suit, buy one and your second is free. Plus, the entire stock of handcrafted sport coats and blazers, buy one, get one for free. Even all dress pants, buy one and your second is, you guessed it, free. That's suits, sport coats, dress pants, buy one, get one for free. Only at Joseph A. Bank. Now through Saturday.
New West Records presents The Outlaws of Country from the critically acclaimed Austin City Limits TV series, available for the first time live from Austin, Texas. Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard,
one could steer me right, but Mama tried,
and Johnny Cash. Never-before-seen footage, digitally remastered in award-winning 5.1 surround sound, capturing these classic performances. Available now at Walmart.com. To order, log on now.
NetZero, America's #1 value price internet service, is so easy you'll be online in minutes. And it's safer than ever with optional online threat protection from Norton Antivirus. Plus, your service is backed by a connection guarantee. Millions of people have switched to the internet service that ranks higher than AOL in customer satisfaction. NetZero is only $9.95 a month, and there's no commitment and no credit card required. NetZero, join the millions.
Sweat. When you sweat, mosquitoes just can't resist you. But Off Active is sweat resistant. It gives you proven off protection when you sweat. Protection against mosquitoes that may carry the West Nile virus. Sweat resistant Off Active keeps bugs off even when you sweat. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Between my two phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could ever want are included. And it's just $24.99 a month.
Call 1-800-425-8190. Go online or visit these fine retailers.
Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
And in the Factor Flashback segment tonight, the district attorney in Durham, North Carolina, made quite a name for himself when he brought rape charges against 3 Duke lacrosse players. At first, Mike Nifong beat the press drums about how strong the case was. Then suddenly he disappeared. Today he spoke out but said little. Now this has made some people, including O'Reilly, suspicious that there may not be a case here after all.
Do you agree with me that there's going to be any winners here? The likelihood of conviction. Just think about the Michael Jackson case and how much more evidence there was against Jackson. He walked out of the courtroom acquitted. Here, there's no way on this earth as it stands that these guys will ever be convicted, and this woman will be torn to pieces in the process. Am I wrong?
I think you're wrong. I think, I mean, O.J. Simpson, would you say don't bring that to trial? There was a lot of evidence against him. I think we haven't heard from the woman yet, Bill, and I think that, we talk about just basic humanity and justice. You should hear from the person who's bringing the charge. I don't know that. You don't know that.
Well, her father says she's an absolute mess, and she has a history of making accusations like this and then not following through. I will predict on this broadcast, this woman is never going to testify. Do you disagree with me, Ms. Wayne?
I don't disagree with you, Bill. I think that that's their way out, frankly. If she can't withstand the scrutiny of the accusation here, then that's their easy way out. She's not there. They can't bring the case any further than it is.
When would she have to make a public appearance and start to prosecute this case aggressively? When would that happen?
Well, the defense can force the government's hand on this, and they can say, look, this is a faulty lineup or a faulty ID, and she has to come forward in court and make an accusation, and she has to make a positive identification. So they can force his hand on that by filing motions and making sure that she has to come to court.
Midsummer sometime? Midsummer that would happen?
Probably midsummer sometime, but they want it to happen before this ever has to go to trial. If he gets to, hide her until trial, this goes on forever.
What I'm trying to get at is that this is going to be bad for the accuser no matter what. Her life is going to be destroyed.
But Bill, that's one of the reasons that women generally don't bring rape charges. It's such a small percentage of women who have been sexually assaulted who take the risk, one, of ruining some guy's life, but secondly, ruining their own lives, because so much trash, so much attack is going to come on them in terms of their credibility. We've already seen this in the case on this.
So if you have no chance of winning, Juan, if you have no chance of winning, why would you put yourself through it?
Wait, apparently she feels that she was assaulted in the most inhumane, animalistic way, Bill.
Look,
let me just finish this point. You had 1,300 pages of discovery presented to the defense team. The defense team, as you just heard from Ms. Wayne, has come back and asked to suppress evidence with a 5-page affidavit. They have cherry-picked information. Now, they have the best attorneys,
I don't want to try the case. That's for the other cable shows to do, but I'm going to tell you, there's no way on earth, unless there's a smoking gun someplace, all right, that this woman wins a case. Am I wrong, Lisa?
I think you're absolutely right. And the reality is, I totally disagree with Juan's statistics about the allegations, but the reality is you have to have a credible and believable witness. And you know what? Her life should fall apart if she's wrongly accusing these guys.
Well, all right. I mean, I don't want to even get into that. All I want to tell everybody is, number one, I predict this case is history. It's not going to come to trial because the accuser is not going to testify, not going to put herself in that position to have all of her motion. Look, there's allegations she said she drank heavily, that she engaged in some kind of prostitutional activity before she got there, that a policeman discovered her drunk in a car. I mean, Juan, it is not going to happen. It's not.
Well, Bill, you know what? You don't have, I don't think that you or Lisa or I want to be part of any mob that's running to one side or another. When this case first started, I think there were a lot of people who rushed to judgment.
No, I kept a cold eye on it.
That email came out about one of the boys writing about dismembering and skinning people, and people, oh, terrible, the boys are guilty. That was wrong, and it's wrong now to rush in the other direction because we haven't heard from the woman, and we haven't heard from the DA. If there's one thing you said right, it'd be good to hear from the DA.
But he hasn't said anything, and now it's critical mass.
And up next, why are some Latinos claiming that an English-only proposal is un-American? We're going to have that heated debate when we come back.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Darby Dunn. Hezbollah fighters are packing a new weapon that's reaching deeper into Israel. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively is live at the Israeli-Lebanese border. Caroline?
Hi there, Darby. There has been no let-up in the fighting here. Israeli soldiers say they killed 26 Hezbollah guerrillas on Friday. Those guerrillas fought back with a new rocket. Hezbollah videotaped the launching and fed it out to TV stations throughout Lebanon. Those rockets went all the way to Afula, the deepest yet that they've gone into Israel, about 30 miles south of the border. They didn't send out the video where Israeli warplanes came in and blasted that rocket launcher to pieces a few hours later. The rockets hit in a field and injured no one, but they are much more powerful than the Katyushas that fall here an average of about 100 times a day. These were packed with about 220 pounds of explosives apiece. Back in the U.S., President Bush and Britain's Tony Blair announced they want a United Nations resolution introduced next week that calls for a ceasefire and an international peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice is spending the weekend in the region trying to find something that Lebanon and Israel can agree to and hammer out a peace deal. Reporting live in Kiryat Shmona, Israel, I'm Caroline Shively. Darby, back to you.
Next news break at the top of the hour. The O'Reilly Factor continues right after the break.
Denise Basic is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell her story, we hired a celebrity.
It was Thanksgiving night when I accidentally hit a deer.
Whoa, look out, look out!
I called Geico expecting to get a recording, but someone was there to help me.
Help me! Somebody help me!
Geico got my claim in the works right away, and I was actually able to enjoy my Thanksgiving.
Mashed potatoes, gravy, and cranberry sauce! Woo!
Geico. Real service, real savings.
It has been all Colts today. Setting up again, 3rd and 5 now.
Hey, you, come here. It's 28-3. If you had an NFL Sunday ticket from DirecTV, you can watch up to 14 games every Sunday. So instead of watching this, you watch my brother Eli play against the Cowboys. Oh, I've got to run. Actually, I think I'll pass.
Pump fake. Touchdown!
Buy NFL Sunday Ticket. Get 4 months of our best programming package for free. There's good TV, there's better TV, and then there's DirecTV. Looking for the perfect computer for back to school? Circuit City makes it simple. Right now at Circuit City, bring in any PC and get a free checkup, a $40 value. And save up to $320 on select desktops and notebooks after mail-in and instant savings. Like this Presario desktop PC featuring the Intel Celeron D processor for just $299.99 after rebates. Circuit City.
What are you doing?
Getting ready for my test.
A test? What subject?
Cholesterol.
Are you nervous?
Well, last time I didn't do so great.
You?
Yeah, but I'm getting extra help.
Cheerios is the only leading cold cereal proven to lower cholesterol.
Grandpa, I hope you score 100 on your test.
Well, I'm shooting for something like 190.
I feel these tingling sensations deep inside my legs.
It's a tightening feeling that keeps me from getting to sleep.
For me, it's creepy crawling. I feel like I have to get up and move just to get some relief.
My doctor said it's restless leg syndrome, or RLS. He prescribed Requip, the only RLS medication approved by the FDA. He said Requip would help relieve my RLS symptoms, even the uncontrollable leg movements that disturb my sleep. Requip helped me make peace with my legs.
Requip may cause you to fall asleep or feel very sleepy during normal activities such as driving, or to faint or feel dizzy when you stand up. Tell your doctor if you experience these problems, or if you drink alcohol or are taking medicines that make you drowsy. Side effects include nausea, drowsiness, vomiting, and dizziness. Most patients were not bothered enough to stop taking Requip. Ask your doctor if Requip can help put your RLS to rest.
The #1 show that dominates cable news, The O'Reilly Factor.
And thanks for staying with us. I'm Laura Ingram in for Bill O'Reilly. And in the Factor follow-up segment tonight, this week, a congressional committee considered making English our country's official language. Ooh, how controversial. Anyway, joining us now from San Francisco is John Trasvina of the Mexican-American Legal Defense and Education Fund, who is against the idea, and Republican Congressman Mark Souter. He's the co-sponsor of the measure in question. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us.
Good to be with you.
Nice to be with you, Laura.
John, let's start with you. I've heard some Democrats in Congress call this proposal to make English the official U.S. language discriminatory. John, do you believe it's discriminatory?
It leads to discrimination, and Congress really ought to get to work before they leave session, before the summer, and pass immigration legislation, but also provide more adult English classes. We have a great disparity in the U.S. because we have kids who in school every year, grade 1 through 12, you have to go to English class. But yet for adults, there are no adult English classes. Latino immigrants and other immigrants want to learn English. So we don't need a law saying it's good to learn English. We need English classes.
So in other words, for the entire history of our country, when people came to our country, assimilated gladly, learned the language, their kids ended up learning the language, was that some type of unfair system then? John, I don't get it.
No, back in the 20s and 30s or early, we had night classes, the traditional night classes for English.
So it's more that the federal government has to pay for it.
It could be churches. We could support faith-based groups doing it, employers doing it.
But that's
happening. It could be any number of means. We're just not doing it.
Congressman, he says that the federal government and other groups should be doing this, educating of people. But why is this taking Congress so long? I bet if you did a poll, a referendum of all the American people on whether English should be the official language, I would be surprised if that result wasn't about 95% of the country would say yes, it should be.
Well, even 75% of Hispanics believe so. 27 countries have English as official language. You'd think if it's good enough for Botswana, it'd be good enough for the United States. It's laughable that we haven't done it. Clearly, as we move towards things like potentially work permits and so on, if you can't be fluent in English, why should you be allowed to work here? Most people, when they would go live in another country, wouldn't even think of going there without their language. You wouldn't go to Mexico. Their official language is Spanish. There's hundreds of thousands of Americans who live in Mexico. They're not all insulted that their language is Spanish.
John, do you think that the English language is unifying and strengthens our country, the United States of America, or do you think the language itself can be divisive because it separates people?
It's not the language, it's the official English laws that are divisive. And we should never rationalize taking away people's rights because some other countries do it a different way. This is the United States, and we believe in freedom, we believe in opportunity.
Right,
and provide English
it's
classes.
the United States, though, John. So I think people across the country are listening to this tonight. I promise you, and they're saying, how is this even a controversy that English should be the official language? It is the official language.
It's not a controversy. It's a shame when there are not adult English classes. That's what we need. Not these laws taking away people's rights. English classes.
But John,
that's something Congress could do, and they don't do.
How did we possibly make it in our country to become the world's sole superpower, frankly, the savior of the rest of the world, if indeed, we've been so unfair to people coming to this country? I mean, they've figured out how to learn the language through friends or family members or churches or school. They figured it out.
They never needed a law to tell them that. We haven't had this law on the books
But they didn't have to deal with political correctness. And Congressman, here's what I see happening across this country is we've become a hyphenated America. We're Mexican Americans, we're African Americans, we're Polish Americans, we're Italian Americans. And I'm proud, I'm half Polish, I'm proud of my heritage. But I'm an American first. And shouldn't we get away from this whole hyphenated thing?
Well, that's what I hear from most of the immigrants who've come to the United States. There's 82 languages at Southside High School in Fort Wayne. In the center of the country, in Indiana, we have kids from every continent there. We have the highest population of Burmese. We have Chinese, we have Koreans, we have people from all over the world. If you don't have a common language, how in the world are we going to do this? Our rate of assimilation is increasing, the number of people coming into the United States. And if we don't have a common language, we're going to balkanize just like other countries have around the world and break up. Of course, groups that have come in here. My family, when they came in, spoke German. My church spoke German for many years. But they learned English because they knew to succeed in America, to be part of America, you had to have the goal of immersing in English as fast as possible.
And John, I'm not trying to pig pile on you tonight just because I happen to agree more with the congressman, but I know that you have the interests of Mexican Americans. You take their interests to heart. You believe in their future. And if you believe in their future, isn't it better to actually set the bar really high? And if English is the official language, it encourages more people to assimilate quickly rather than staying in balkanized areas or keeping to yourself and not maybe mixing with other people. As is very positive in this country. So why not do that? It's actually good for Mexican Americans.
Laura, we support the interests of all Americans. And Latino immigrants are no different than the other immigrants who've come here, learned English. Latinos are learning English today, but but they do need the adult English classes to do that.
My grandparents didn't have adult English classes paid for by the government or any federal government. No, they didn't.
Well,
no, they didn't.
These immigrants are taxpayers too. It's their tax dollars that go to
everybody
English
wants
classes.
to come to the United States of America, and for some reason, everyone wants to come here. But then when they come here, you know, too often it's like America has to do this, 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 and this to accommodate my needs and interests. I don't get that. Anyway, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Spirited debate. And coming up, looks like charges are going to be dropped against a New York City DJ who threatened to sexually abuse his rival's 4-year-old daughter. That story up next.
There's a company that builds more than 1 million vehicles a year in places called Indiana and Kentucky. One that has 10 plants, from the foothills of West Virginia to the Pacific coastline. What company is this? Toyota. A company that, along with its dealers and suppliers, has helped create hundreds of thousands of U.S. jobs. A company proud to do its small part to add to the landscape of America.
Wheat Thins. That wholesome little lift in your day. Made with whole grain. Wheat Thins. Tastes good, feels good.
Some things men don't want to talk about.
Like prostate problems. But I learned 1 in 3 men will have them. So I switched to One-A-Day Men's.
A complete multivitamin plus lycopene, which Harvard studies suggest may help prostate health.
Some things are healthy to talk about.
One-A-Day Men's.
News Channel 8 at 10 on Portland's WB. Your choice from the #1 news team. With the largest team of reporters bringing you breaking news from around the city, the country, and the world. The most respected meteorologist with the forecast to plan your day ahead. And sports highlights. The area's most watched, most honored news team. All in a convenient half hour at a time that works for you. Northwest News Channel 8 at 10 on Portland's WB. The 10 o'clock choice.
24/7. Come.
New Prudential real estate signs.
Now with Yahoo, very powerful. You'll need to reload.
More than usual.
Our exclusive relationship with Yahoo Real Estate has produced this. Now you can show your home sellers how many buyers are looking in their neighborhood, in their price range.
Even viewing their home online.
The future of real estate is in your hands.
Prudential Real Estate and Yahoo together. The future of real estate now.
Ron and Sana gets into the heart of the day's market action. Hardcore business from all the angles. What you could learn from how the pros make money. And insight that's uniquely Ron. Street Signs, weekdays on CNBC. Make it your business.
Street Signs on CNBC is brought to you locally by Pacific Continental Bank.
Ever get the feeling your advertising is reaching the wrong people? Comcast Spotlight can help. With dozens of networks to choose from, you can run your message only on the shows your customers are watching. You can even target your message geographically to reach your customers where they live. Comcast Spotlight. TV advertising without the waste.
For more information, call our Portland office.
And in the second Factor flashback segment tonight, The Factor reported a few months ago that a New York City DJ, Troy Terrain, or DJ Star as he's called, made on-air sexually charged comments about his rival's 4-year-old daughter. Nice guy. He was fired from his job and charged with endangering the welfare of a child. But now prosecutors are saying charges could be dropped if DJ Star performs some community service and stays away from the child and her parents. Bill recently spoke with the little girl's mother.
How did you learn about this?
I heard it with my own 2 ears.
Oh, you heard him?
I heard
And he's a rival of your husband who's a DJ on another channel, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
And he routinely attacks your husband and your family?
Up until this point, he hadn't made such a big deal out of attacking my husband. This came out of the clear blue sky. I don't know what provoked him to do this, The only thing that I'm concerned with now is the safety of my children.
How has it affected your children and your family?
It's affected us in the greatest way. My children, they go to school. My daughter is 4, my son is 2, and they go to school. And now I had to contact her school and let them know that security has to be heightened. They have to keep an extra eye on my children. I had to tell my daughter that she can't go outside and play with the other children at lunchtime. She has to stay inside. And I have to watch my daughter cry as a result of that because now she feels like an outcast. I had to take my daughter out of soccer. This was supposed to be her first week of kiddie soccer, and now she can't go.
Because you're afraid of what?
Because I'm particularly afraid now that he's going to carry out his threats to molest her.
I think this guy is just, a disturbed guy. I don't think he'd do anything like that because he knows he could never get away with it. These guys are usually cowards. Yeah. But what I'm worried about are the other kids knowing what's going on, and that your child then separated for attention, negative attention, because 4-year-olds don't understand any of this stuff.
No.
All they know is that there's something going on. Does your daughter know what's going on?
Absolutely not. I would never expose her to those threats. I would never let her know what type of situation that she's been put in.
So all she knows is that there's something different. She doesn't know why.
Exactly.
All right. I'm sorry you have to go through this, Miss Casey. Now, Mr. Liu, this guy stayed on the air. Again, Clear Channel, major corporation in this country. He stayed on the air until you blew the whistle on him. Tell me about that.
He stayed on the air. They let him continue to spew this violence and hate for many, many days until he was shut down. And we're happy that he's been fired, but more has to be done because otherwise it'll just go on with someone else. This is a major corporation. They hired Troy Terrain after he had been fired by the rival station for making totally inexcusable remarks over the airwaves. Clear Channel went ahead and sought this person in an attempt to boost their own ratings and therefore boost their corporate profits.
Yeah, but
and that's the problem.
The shock jocks and the smear meisters are everywhere. But what I'm really disturbed about is that they let him go on the air after he threatened to molest
a
4-year-old child. And they didn't get him off the air until you held a press conference. Did you talk to the company?
We have talked to the company, and it's also the bravery of Gia who came forward with this. You're hitting the problem on the head right here.
Absolutely.
The problem is that these companies like Clear Channel, and last year we had a problem with MS Communications, they will push the envelope and push the envelope to boost their profits until some kind of a check is put in place.
Right.
And that's what we've done this time, hold them accountable.
In a moment, a decorated Iraq war vet badly injured in combat speaks out. He'll be here when we come back.
Dear Dr. Z, I know Daimler Chrysler invented the minivan, but how is the quality?
Kim, check out our unique Stow and Go on the Dodge Grand Caravan and this Chrysler Town Country. And both minivans are 5-star crash test rated.
But
hey, look what I found. JD Power Award for the highest ranked van in initial quality.
It's back. Employee pricing plus up to $2,500 cash allowance. Get our employee price on most 2006 Chrysler and Dodge vehicles.
We have got to cut costs, people. Ideas.
We could open an account on FedEx.com, save 15% on online express shipping.
Okay, how about this? We open an account on FedEx.com, we save 15% on online express shipping.
That is wonderful. You just said the same thing I said, only you did this.
No, I did this.
Makes all the difference.
Bingo.
That's good.
Right on the nose.
It's really a great idea.
Interest rates keep climbing, and so are your monthly payments. Refinance your adjustable rate mortgage with LendingTree and save as much as $250 a month. Call 1-800-555-TREE now to lower your monthly payments. When banks compete, you win. Rates are climbing higher, and so are your interest payments. Refinance your adjustable rate mortgage with LendingTree and save up to $3,000 a year. Call 1-800-555-TREE now before rates climb even higher. When banks compete, you win.
It's back to school, and Best Buy's got what kids need to succeed, like laptops with fingerprint scanners for extra security, convertible notebooks that let you jot notes directly on the screen for new ways to learn, and media center computers that let you record, watch, and pause live TV. Check out the Gateway convertible notebook with dual-core technology. It's a perfect blend of performance and creativity. Save big for back to school, now at Best Buy.
Hey, Goodman.
What's up, yo?
I got the new BlackBerry from Sprint. Check out how fast I can download big files.
I get my big files fast.
Really? It's a different kind of file, Goodman.
Get the new BlackBerry 7130E for $199.99 and download big files fast. Visit a Sprint or Nextel store or call 1-8-SPRINT-BIZ to learn how to make just about any place a workplace.
That's me, Joanne. And it's my 7th day with Prilosec OTC. When my friend Becky said, let's follow the Big and Rich tour, I thought, not with my frequent heartburn. Then I got Prilosec OTC. Now 5 cities in 7 days. Day 2, Cedar City. Day 4, Flagstaff. Tonight, Albuquerque. 0 heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. That's my Prilosec OTC. It's day 7 for me. What day are you on?
And in the back of the book segment tonight, the side of the Iraq War that the media doesn't report. On yesterday's Factor, an independent military analyst responded to a front-page article in the Washington Post that claimed that morale was low in Iraq and troops were frustrated.
Yeah, it's hot. It's 120 degrees and people are shooting at you, so it's not a lot of fun. But the key is that the troops understand that this is an important mission. It's uncomfortable, but they understand that coming home, just cutting and running, would be a serious risk to their families and security of this nation.
And joining us now from Philadelphia is Sergeant Michael Sorrow, who was wounded during combat in Iraq. And Sergeant Sorrow is a Purple Heart recipient and is too humble to admit it, but has been recommended for the Bronze Star. Sergeant, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Laura.
Sergeant, I want to know about your personal story. You were a Marine, and you were out of the Marine Corps, but then you signed back up for service, and you ended up going to Iraq. Tell us about it.
That's correct. I served with 1-7 in the U.S. Marines. My time had been up. My 4 years of service was over in late 2002. And at this point in time, we were not yet aware of the buildup that was going to be taking place in Kuwait. So my time had ended. By the time I got out, my unit had then moved off to Kuwait, prepared for the invasion. And at that point, it was time for me to find some form of unit I could join and deploy with, and it was the Pennsylvania National Guard.
And tell us about the incident in which you got so badly injured. I know your leg is in a stabilization cage, holding it together, all the bones together, because there was some pretty bad shattering that happened.
That's correct. The incident itself occurred on a routine patrol in the city of Beji, which is just outside Tikrit. We were going down the main road, and about 500 meters into that patrol, 2 anti-tank mines were remote detonated under my Humvee. This took the front of the vehicle off. We crashed off the road, and at that point is when the firefight began between insurgents from the rooftops and buildings onto our position. It was approximately 25 minutes into this firefight where I was wounded. I was shot with an AK-47 through the leg, and this is pretty much how I ended up to be where I'm at right now.
And I know you're recuperating now, and you have been put in for the Bronze Star, and I know that is such an amazing honor, and you're so humble you didn't even want to talk about it, but I had to mention that. But there are 1,000 people who've been received the Bronze Star with Valor in the last 3 years, but I just don't hear about the stories of their bravery, Sergeant, and I was wondering how you felt about that. I mean, isn't it important for the American people to know these stories?
This is very important for the American people to know. These are individuals that have put themselves in such inherent danger to reach this level of an award. You have to put yourself in major danger, place your team ahead of your own life, and these are people's stories that need to be told, because these type of awards just aren't given out. Their stories are much more important to me than any car bomb or killing that goes on throughout that country. These people are due their right recognition.
And I know it's been a tough year for you of rehab and rehabilitation, but would you do it all over again?
You know I would. Marines would always do it again.
Sergeant, we're going to make sure that your story and the stories of so many in Iraq and Afghanistan are told, and we really appreciate your joining us. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it for us today. As always, we thank you for watching The Factor. Make sure to check out my radio show. And up next, Hannity and Combs investigating where Hezbollah is, the leadership that is. I'm Laura Ingraham, in for Bill O'Reilly. Hope to see you again next time. And remember, the spin stops here.